All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Darren. I am the LMS specialist for our school district. I am the one that, if you reach out to Brightspace support, you're likely going to get a response back from me. So today I was asked to do a couple sessions, and I wanted to think of something relevant. And based on Brightspace support, I get a lot of questions about how do I copy? Like, what are my options for copying? And it's a tool that we all need in order to manage, for many of us, multiple courses. So hopefully today I'll be able to give you, just a refresher on some of the tools that we do have, and also, I've tried to throw in a few alternatives or ideas to try maybe instead. Today will be kind of mostly just a show and tell. We should have time at the end for questions, a little bit of practice. If you want to try some things out, feel free, throw some questions in the chat. I have Patrick here with me today, or raise your hand and we can ask as I move through our session today. So let's talk about this hot topic of copying in Brightspace. So to begin, one of the first things that you might want to do beginning of the year, take that course appearance from the previous year's course, or from quarter one to quarter two, or semester one to semester two. You just want to get that course appearance. Typically, that's your nav bar, your homepage layout, and then any custom widgets you may have created, bringing over. So we're going to kind of go through the steps of that today. First, how to get those things over from one course to the other, and then also talk about kind of the most important thing that we get questions about. I copied it over, but I don't see it. A lot of things do have to be applied. So they get copied over to the course. They're there. They're sitting in the background waiting for you to apply them, publish them, make them visible to you and your students. So we're going to go over that as well. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth today between my presentation, which I'll share with you, and will be shared with all e-coaches and Brightspace champions and all attendees at the end. But I'm going to be jumping back and forth between the presentation and my courses that I'm going to be demoing in today. So we're going to begin. We're going to be copying from my sandbox one. I have a sandbox one, a sandbox two that I use for these purposes. So just think of that as your semester one class going into your semester two class, or your 21-22 class going into your 22-23 class, however, whatever works for you. Just note that what we're going to be doing now is a pull. So there's really two kinds of copying in Brightspace. There's a push and there's a pull. These first few we're going to talk about right now are a pull. So you're going to have to be in the course where you want to have the content be. So you're going to pull it from another course. So I'm going to head into my sandbox 2, and we're going to be pulling from sandbox 1. So what I want to do is I want to pull in my nav bar, my homepage, and maybe a widget or two that I was using in my other course. So place to start almost always is course admin. If you ever can't find anything in your nav bar, go to course admin. It's probably there. And we're going to be using the import export copy components tool. I keep my course admin organized by category. Um, Maybe you keep yours by name, but either way, you'll find it here, import export copy. And the first thing you need to do is search for that offering. By offering, they just mean the course. Typically, the best way to search in Brightspace is by your username, or by the username of the teacher that was assigned the course in PowerSchool. So let's say you are a teacher in someone else's course. You're going to be copying from that course. You were added to that course, so you can copy from that teacher. Just search by their username. You might need to throw in a little more info in order to find the course you want, but I'm going to use my username and the name of my course, and there it is, narrowed it down to 1 for me. So I'm going to be copying from this course. I'm going to be pulling from sandbox 1. I select it, and then I add selected with my blue button here. And Patrick, just let me know if my screen ever is not showing what I'm saying. Next, for this one, we are just going to be selecting components. Copy all takes everything. So, and you're going to see that in a minute, depending on the size of your course and what you have in that other course. It's copy all is going to bring you over everything. You hit the button and it does it. Selecting allows you to kind of pick and choose, which a lot of us are probably aware of. You might get this notice here that you've already copied from this course. That's okay. Just say, yes, I want to proceed. Typically, we'll make something in one course, and then we'll, throughout the year be moving things over from one course to another. So you're going to see that message often. So now we get to pick and choose what components we want to copy. So for this one, I'm just going to be looking for that course appearance. So I'm going to start by going down through and looking for I'm not going to do display settings. I just want home pages, and I do want to select individual items to copy. I don't want all the home pages from my other course. I just want one specific home page. So I'm going to I'm going to click on select individual items to copy. Let me zoom in on that just a little bit so I can make sure everyone can see. And I'm going to select navigation bars. Again, I want to select individual navigation bars, not all the navigation bars from my other course. Finally, I do know I have a widget that I've been using. So I'm going to select widgets, and I'm going to select individual widgets to copy. Once I have everything I want for my course appearance, I'm actually not selecting course appearance. There's actually nothing there, as you can see. So I'm not selecting that. I'm just selecting home pages, nav bars, and widgets for now. Once I'm ready, I'm going to click continue down at the bottom. And my first stop is widgets. So I'm going to be selecting the widgets that I want. Right now, I just want my weekly agenda widget. You can see there are other custom widgets that have been created, are in my uh, sandbox one. I don't need any of those right now, but I could select all or some of them. I'm going to continue. Next, I am going to select the home page that I want. And for this one, I'm going to select this one that I've named Testing Sandbox 1 Widget-Based eCoach, just for this occasion. And finally, the navigation bar, same thing. I've made a nav bar in Sandbox 1 that I want to bring over into Sandbox 2. And then continue. Uh, None of this really needs to be selected. You're good to go. Once you've selected everything, you're going to click on Finish. So now comes the part where we wait a couple seconds. Everything's being copied over. This shouldn't take long. I haven't copied much. But now we are going to want to, just click on our course home or the name of our course and just see everything there ready to go. Not quite the case. You do have to apply these things that were brought over. So they're sitting there ready to go. So this is the part where we head into course admin. As you can see, I don't have a brand new widget on my homepage. That widget that I copied over, there's not a new one there yet, but I can head into course admin now, and I'm going to get those things and apply those to my course. They're copied over. I just got to apply them now. Let's start with the home page. So I'm going to go into course admin, course administration, and click on home pages. You can see here I have the active homepage is sorry. The active homepage is this homepage here, and you can see that it's active. The one that I want is right here. You can tell that it's a homepage that I created or was brought over because it's blue. It has the blue text. It means I can go in and edit it. I can change it if I wanted to. So while we're here, I'm going to go in and do that because I know I brought over a widget and I want that widget to be on this homepage. So I'm going to make sure it's there. So I'm going to go in and click on this homepage and make sure that widget that I brought over, nope, not there. So I'm going to add that widget to this homepage because I do know that I want it to be over. I copied it over, but it's not there yet. So I'm going to add the widgets. You can add it to either side. If you add it to the wrong side, you can always drag it over to the other side or up above or below later on. There we go. So here's the one I did put a star, so just show up on top or an asterisk, but you can always search for it here if you know what it's called, or you should. We don't know what it's called, but anyway, there we go. I'm going to add that to my homepage. I actually do want this over on the other side, so I'm just going to use my drag and drop and move it over here to this side, and I'm going to save and close. So now that widget that I copied over, it was sitting in with all my other widgets. I added it to the homepage that I now know that I want to make the active homepage. So here it is. I know I just edited that. I just have to come up here and apply my eCoach Testing Sandbox 1 homepage. Once I click apply, that is now my active homepage in Sandbox 2. I can test that by coming right up here We're going to course home, and if we were paying really close attention, you'll be able to tell that I now have a different homepage. My profile widget does stay the same. I didn't bring that over. Just a note, profile widget does not copy over when you do select components. That profile widget's only going to come over if you copy all. So your profile widget does have to be set up separately in every course. Where's my new, there's my weekly agenda widget that I brought over, sitting there, and all of my other, you can see here, I don't know if you noticed before, but at the very bottom, I had a funky looking widget that I had built, not here anymore because I've applied a new homepage. This is the one from my Sandbox one. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply my nav bar. So that can be done in a couple ways. You could head into course admin. I usually just go that way. I prefer to go that way, but you can always go through to the three dots as well. If it's the first time, you would customize this nav bar, but I'm actually just going to head into course admin. And instead of going to home pages, this time I'm going to go to navigation and themes. So just think of nav bar, navigation, navigation and themes. Here you can see that I have this active default nav bar. That's the active one now. And and I have this one here. This is a time where you could edit that nav bar, add links, take links away if you wanted to, but I want it just like it was in my testing sandbox one. So I just need to apply it. Drop down, there it is, apply. Okay, so you can see this now, it looks slightly different. That one had a Google Meet link. So now I have a Google Meet link in my nav bar. All right, any questions before we move on with another copy or another reason to copy? Patrick, I don't think there was anything in the chat, no. So any questions at all? Yeah, April, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Uh, yes, so I'll share this this slide deck. Let me get back to my slide deck. Yeah, the slide deck actually has links to all the directions. Let me, I'll just do that now for you. Then we won't forget. But yeah, I've linked directions, all of our direction sheets for copying in this document. So I'll throw that in the chat for you. And these will be available afterwards along with this recording. All right, so that was copying the course appearance. So very similar steps for what we're going to talk about next is just copying content. There it is, that'll load. So a lot of times, the same way we want to just grab, a nav bar, homepage, whatever, we want to just copy certain bits of content, and we want those to come over to from one course to another course, whether that be we are managing, two or three courses at once, or we, are moving from quarter one to quarter two, semester one to semester two, or even, year to year, and we want to bring over certain, bits or components, certain components that we want to use again. So a few things to remember before I get in and demo this. We're going to be doing the select components, not copy all again. um, Anything in content will copy over there, and you'll see there's a way to also include associated files. By associated files, I mean if you have a Word document that you uploaded to the course, a PDF, an image, you want to include those associated files. If you don't, those things won't come over. So anytime you upload something into a course or add anything to your course, it's saved in your manage files area. If you go to course admin, manage files, everything you've ever uploaded to a course is going to be saved there in some way. If you want it to copy over, you have to include those associated files. So that's an important step. If you have an assignment um, or a quiz that is not necessarily in the content tool, it's just sitting in the assignments tool or the quizzes tool, if that's the way you operate your course, you're going to have to select those course files separately. And there's a whole section when you're selecting components to copy called course files. And you'll have to go in and find those course files that are associated. That's why I'm a proponent of putting everything into content, because the copy process is a little bit easier if you have everything linked in content for your students. If you are using Google assignments, it's important to remember that, yes, Shayla, that includes PDFs. If you're using Google assignments, it's important to remember you can use import export copy to pull assignments that have Google assignments linked, or if you just put a Google assignment in content, you can pull those over. And that's in the section called external links, external learning tools, excuse me. So we will talk about that as well. So any questions any questions about that or clarifications that I can provide before I demo this piece? Yeah, go ahead.
I have teachers who do different things. They do Google assignments with the external activities, or they do it inside the text box through like one of those add stuff kind of things. Do you know what I'm
Okay.
talking about?
Yeah.
Would it, if you did the copy from, I know you said external links would work, external assignments would work, but what about if they're doing it in that text feature?
Yeah, either way. So you have I'm going to show you in a second. So the Google
Okay.
assignment really lives separately and you have to make sure you select it if you want all the pieces and parts of the Google assignment to come over with wherever it's housed within Brightspace. So yeah. So good question. But yeah, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
show you that right now. Anyone else? All right, perfect. Well, we will keep going. So let's again head into um, our courses. So I'm going to head into content, kind of just show you where we're going to start, and then we're going to go into course 2 and copy over, pull from course 1. So you can see here I've kind of set up a unit. I'm working through in content. I really think that's the easiest way, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of copying. And within my week 5 lesson, I have an HTML document, I have an assignment, and I have a quiz. And I'm going to copy those things over. I want to show you this assignment just really quick. I and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but a quick way to edit an assignment instead of going to assignment, clicking edit. If you highlight it in blue, come over to your 3 dots and click edit, it takes you directly into the assignment edit piece. So you don't, it'll save you a click. Anyway, so you can see here, I do have a Google assignment linked in this course. So I've embedded a Google assignment within a Brightspace assignment. Your Google assignment, and I'm just going to head back to content. Your Google assignment could just be um, sitting right out here in content somewhere, and that's fine too. You know, if that's the way you're doing it, it's just you'll see that little puzzle piece that looks like a Lego sitting out here. The process for copying over a Google assignment is going to be the same no matter what. If you have it, like Ms. Grasnick said, in a text box somewhere different, still the same thing. You're going to have to make sure you grab the specific Google assignment from a separate space in when we're copying components. So let's head in and go through that process now. So uh, like everything, we're going to start in course admin, and we're going to head down to import, export, copy. And again, we're going to search for our offering. Remember, username, always one of the best ways to search for anything within Brightspace. I know I want to copy from Sandbox 1. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to add that selected course. Once I have that, I am not copying everything. I don't want everything. That would take a long time. So I'm going to select specific components. And I know this time I just want some content, and I know I want that Google assignment to come over with it. There we go. So first of all, I'm going to head into content. You can see I have 284 items in content. So I'm definitely going to select, come on now. Oh, I'm getting please wait. There we go. And I'm definitely going to select the select individual items to copy. I don't want all my content to come over. Just note when you're copying content, if maybe you just want a specific link or a specific HTML doc, it's going to bring over whatever is holding that uh, link or HTML doc. So if it's a lesson or a folder or even a unit, it's going to bring that over with it. You can always delete that in the other course, but it has to, it's almost think of like, it's a parent holding a child, like the parent has to bring the child to the other part of the playground. So it's gonna hold them and bring them over, but you can always let it go after once you get over to the other part or the other course. I hope that analogy makes sense. So I have my content right here, my external learning tool links. External learning tool links is it could be Wixie, it could be Discovery Ed, and it's definitely Google Assignments, which we all use a lot. So if you want a Google assignment to come over with this process, make sure you select external learning tool links and select individual items to copy. The other piece, like I mentioned, let's say you have maybe a discussion. If that discussion contains an image and you want that in the discussion is not in content, you haven't linked it anywhere in your content, it's just sitting in the discussions tool. If that has an image or a PDF that students are going to refer to, you you're going to have to select course files as well and find that PDF. So when this comes into play, it's important to remember that naming conventions are very important. So whatever you name things is an important piece. Whether you use dates or numbers. I know when I first met, Carrie Lambert, been in the office for a long time, and I became an e-coach. She, said use numbers. Start with 001, 002, 003. Especially in your drive, it's going to make everything sequential, easy to find. You can use the same in Brightspace to name your files and lessons and whatever you're making. It makes it a little bit easier down the road to find things if you are going to be doing some copying. So just a note there. This could be also applied to, let's say, assignments. If I have an assignment, it's not in content, but I know I want to bring this assignment over with an associated file. You're going to select assignments, individual items to copy, and then you're also going to make sure you select course files, select individual items to copy. So just a heads up, when you're going through this process, if you're not copying content, you're just copying an assignment, quiz, whatever, make sure you do those course files. For this demo, I'm just going to make sure that I'm only doing content, individual items, and I'm including associated files. So anything associated with whatever's in the content will come over. It just knows to grab whatever the associated file is. The only extra thing I have to do, external learning tool links, because I have a Google assignment that I know I want to come over. Okay. If there are grades or anything else associated, you're going to bring that over. You can check those as well. We've already done our nav bars. I'm not going to bring over any announcements. There's a much easier way to copy announcements that we're going to go over a little bit later. So I wouldn't even use this anymore. And that's about it. So we're going to continue and we're going to select our individual items now. So content, I know that I want to bring over items from this unit here. So it starts off with the unit, goes to lesson, then down to folder. Here's my lesson week 5. I'm going to expand this. I'm just using these little pluses and minuses to expand. I know I want to bring over this one and the week yes, I want to bring over this one here. Just so you know, if I uncheck these and just check this, it's going to grab the unit and the lesson anyway. So I would have to get rid of those later. Just a heads up. All right. I'm going to continue. And now I'm going to select those external learning tools. I cheated. I named this with an asterisk, so I'm going to select that one right there. Was there a question?
Yeah, Darren, there's a question
Yes.
about Google assignments from Ms. Mullins in the chat.
Yes, no matter what, if you are using import export copy is the only way to copy over a Google assignment. You can't push it with the other copy tool that I'm going to show you in just a minute, but you have to select the external learning tool and you have to find the Google assignment. Yes. Yes. So what I'm showing you now, yep, perfect, is what you would have to do. All right, we're going to continue. And that's all I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and finish. Copying shouldn't take long. We're not copying much. Head back to I'm just going to go to my course home for now. And then I'm going to head into content. So it copied over. It threw it down here at the bottom. You can see here now I have an Each Coach Day Spring 23 down here at the bottom, hidden. So it defaults to hidden, so my students aren't going to see it. I have I hadn't copied anything. So in some cases, you may have already had a unit called eCoach Day Spring 23 or American Period 5 or whatever it may be. So in that case, you could just move these things into another unit if you needed to, just by dragging and dropping, and then delete this one. It's not worth, we don't need it anymore. Or if this is the first time, we'll just keep that unit and whatever contents was in it. I'm going to move this to the top just because I work better from the top. There we go. And then there's my week at a glance. My assignment did not come over. Why is that? Interesting. Hmm. Well, it wouldn't be a session without something going wrong. I'm going to look into that. It does work. I promise you. I've done this so many times. I'm not sure why that didn't work this time, but the assignment should have come over with that. So let's go into class tools and look at assignments and see if it's here. Hmm. It's very strange. Well, I will look into that. I do promise it works. That process I showed you, it does work. The Google assignment will come over. Um, it will be copied over and it will look just like this. It'll be in the same spot. The Google assignment will work. So any questions before I see, so you moved content from yeah, I just moved it from sandbox 1 to sandbox 2, period 3 to period 5. Whatever you needed to do. Yeah. And moving that content works really well. Hmm, Weird. I tested this so many times before this session, so that's how it goes, I guess. All right, so let's talk about some some alternatives. Sorry, copying all is the next piece I wanted to talk about. So I showed you how to, select specific components. The other option is to copy all, and you saw that a couple times as I went through that process. Rather than selecting components, you hit the blue button, you copy all, and that's what's going to bring over everything that's in one course and put it in another course. You will have to apply things like the nav bars and home pages, add the widgets, things like that. The content will just go into content and it'll go in hidden. You can turn it on. So this is great for, new year, new semester, new quarter. If you're going to be teaching the exact same thing, you've spent a ton of time building, a master course, an exemplar course, and you need everything to come over there. Even if you're going to change a few things second semester, bring it up. You can bring it all over and then delete, edit, kind of change things as you go. So that's a great use of copying all components. Another way to get everything from one place to another is creating what we call a course package. So a course package is, again, where you would go in, select specific things, and instead of just moving it from one course to another, you're actually putting it into a zip file. It'll download the zip file. That zip file could then be shared with other teachers via email, through Cloud Drive, OneDrive or Google Drive, and then those teachers could then download that zip file and upload it into their course. It would then put anything that's in the zip file into their course, whether that be home pages, nav bars, anything that you can select with the import export copy process could then be packaged up into a zip file, shared with other users, and uploaded into their courses. Just note that there's a 2 gig limit to doing it that way. So if you have a course with a ton of videos and images and things, this would not be a good option for you. You'll have to use import export copy. But if you just have some content, HTML docs, some assignments, quizzes, and such, a homepage or two, this is a great thing to do. Easy way to share your content without having to add someone else to your course. So that brings me to one other point that I kind of want. I'll demo that course package. Adding users to your course. So one thing to consider, we've recently created a new role. So a lot of you are teachers in your courses. If you've requested a course that is what we call a non-SIS, it's not connected to PowerSchool. You control all the enrollments and a few other things like sections. Um, you might be a non-SIS teacher, but those are really the only 2 roles that you'll see. And then we have our students. So there's just a few different roles. Another role that you can add a user to your course as is what we call curriculum content. Sorry, I'm trying to highlight it here. Curriculum content access. There we go. So you can choose that role in your class list. Add a participant and choose that role in your class list. This would give the user just read-only access to your course. They wouldn't be allowed to create anything. They would just be allowed to copy from your course. So if you had a colleague, you wanted them to be in your course, you could add them as the curriculum content access role. They would then be allowed to copy from your course. So when they go into that, that process where they're selecting the course to copy from, your course would show up for them when they search for it. So let's look at that course package really quick, and then we will move on. I'm just checking my time. 2:05. Yeah. Okay, good. So in course admin, I'm going to go to class tools. I know that's another place where we keep course admin. Again, import export copy is what will drive this process. But instead of searching for an offering, we're just going to come down here and we're going to export as a Brightspace package. So we're going to select and start. So this is exporting as a Brightspace package. So here you can see this will look very similar to import export copy. I'm just going to, if I have some checklists, some content, external learning tools. I'm not going to go through this process, but I select what I want to be included in my package, and then I continue. It'll create the package, it'll download the package, it'll go into your downloads folder. It is your package to then share any way that you would want to share with your colleagues. Once your colleague has their copy of the package or the package for their course, they can go into import export copy. So now I'm the person who received a course package from my colleague. I'm in my course. I want to add that package to my course. I am going to import components. So I know a lot of us have been using import export copy, and all we've been doing is copying. This is kind of the other thing that it does, is it imports and exports content or components. So I'm going to import components, and I'm going to import from a course package. Once I click start, it's going to prompt me to upload the package that I've downloaded onto my machine. I upload it, it'll go through its steps, and then you will be prompted to import all components. And then once it's done, you'll see a blue button that allows you to view content. And that's pretty much it. So it's another option. I think it's an easy option if it's something you want to try, especially like I said, if you can keep your package under 2 gigabytes. It's a great option. So any questions about adding someone as a curriculum content access user or creating a course package in your course? I know some things went into the chat, but I wasn't sure. No, okay. All right, so adding a user is kind of one of those options. I know a lot of us have copied things before. We kind of maybe know how to copy. Hopefully we learned 1 or 2 little things today from what I just went through. But there are, we want to give some options and alternatives. So adding another user or being added as a user to another course, that's always an option. You can copy from their course or they can copy from your course. Curriculum Content Access allows them to not change anything in your course. So it safeguards it a little bit, I think. Another option is merging courses. I know I've gotten a lot of requests to merge courses. If you are comfortable doing that, it allows you to manage fewer courses. If you are essentially teaching the same content and you're comfortable with maybe using groups or sections within your course, that it's a great option for not having to really do any copying, just creating the content once and then releasing it to students based on the section or group they're in. Because when we merge courses, students from multiple courses get pushed into one course and become a section within that course. That section matches your sections within PowerSchool. So that is an option. Maybe I know a lot of people haven't been comfortable doing that just because managing sections can, get, a little tricky sometimes. So, but if it's something you're comfortable with, you can, start to think about that. I just saw a question, is merging an option for non-CIS instructors? I mean, you could in the future, if you have multiple non-CIS courses and you've requested non-CIS courses and you want to start to merge those uh, in the future, you could, but typically this is more for our CIS courses from PowerSchool. And just a heads up, we are hopefully going to be piloting soon a self-merging option that would allow the instructors of the courses to pick and choose what courses are merged. And I've been told there's a very easy unmerge process. Right now, you would not believe what I have to go through to unmerge courses. So, but it's I think they're going to make the unmerge process very easy. So if we decide, oh, I can't do this, I'm going to put it back the way it was. That's an easy process as well. So I think that's coming. I'm hoping that it'll be ready. I don't think it'll be ready like for full use by fall, but I think those that want to give it a try will be allowed to use it. So be on the lookout for information from either your e-coach person or me about that coming soon. And then the last thing is just using class agendas and calendars. We put this out there before. It's been out in the weekly tips, but instead of posting all of your content and all of your assignments and all of your resources in the content tool or announcements, think about posting some type of living document in the announcements or in content that of information that's the same for all of your classes. Then just updating that document as you go. As the document changes, the link to that document changes. So you could put that link in a custom widget. You could throw it in announcements. You repost that announcement once a week, so it's at the top of the student list, and then they know that pertinent information that I need for this class is going to be in my class agenda for at all times, and my teacher's going to update that one document and all the classes will see that one document. So that's a way to kind of maybe get around having to do a lot of as much copying from one course to another course on a daily basis. So you can think about that. So, and I shared the presentation, but we have a lot of information about using class agendas and calendars on our website, and that link there will take you to that. So any questions before we move on? So it looks like we're down to 15 minutes. Students in our building. Yeah, no, I think it's been a popular thing, not just in elementary. At first I thought, oh, this would be a kind of more of an elementary thing. I think across the board, it's been a great way to students enjoy it. I think it can be shared with parents very easily, and I think it just alleviates a little bit of the legwork that goes into posting things online. Because I mean, I know I like it when my daughter has her assignments online that I can refer to with her. We can work on them later on. So I think it's a good thing to do, but I know it's a cumbersome task at times. So this can alleviate some of that. Yeah, I see your comment now. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just, I think it's going to be okay. We'll just leave it at that. So pushing components, we're going to move on to pushing components. So everything we've talked about, um, everything we've talked about is been a pull. So we've been pulling content from one course to another. We have um, two, we'll call them new tools. One's brand new. It's still in beta. We're kind of just testing it for Brightspace. The other one is in full production across all D2L and Brightspace courses, but that's announcements and assignments. And this allows you to take an announcement or an assignment, both, whatever you want to do, and push it to up to 20 for announcements and up to 10 other courses all at once for assignments. So let's go through that process now, and I'm going to show you. It's easy. Just note, if you have a Google assignment within a Brightspace assignment, the push does not work. It will not push everything you would need to run a Google assignment in the other course with this push process. So if you're using Google assignments, you still have to use import, export, copy. Just want everyone to be aware of that. So let's start here in our sandbox 1. And let's go into our content here. So we're going to start with an assignment. And like I said, you can push an assignment to up to 10 other courses. And there's two ways you can do it. You can start, if your assignment is in content, you can use the content tool to push these assignments. So let's go into our here, and you can see I have an assignment all ready to be pushed. So I'm going to highlight that assignment, just one click. I'm going to come over to my 3 dots, and you see you have an option to copy to another course. If I select this, I can then there we go. I can search for my destination courses. Again, I would probably just use my username. And you can see anything with my username, I can select as many as I want to be pushed, and they'll push them to all my other courses. I'm just going to do one for today. Next, and copy. Okay, so that has now been copied to another course. I can do the same thing if I don't have this in content yet. Let's say I'm just kind of pre-building and everything, I'm working just in my assignments tool. So I go to class tools and assignments. I can do the same thing I just did, just from the assignments tool. So I'm going to scroll down to the assignment that I want to push to another course. Where's my assignment? Oh, there it is. I use my drop-down menu right next to the assignment. And here you'll, same as in content, copy to other course. The other one says another course. This one says other course. I think 2 different people built the coding for this. And I again search for my course, my username. I'm going to push it to sandbox 2. Next, copy. So now the one question I get, just like when we push a nav bar or a home page, why isn't it in my content? Why don't my kids see it? It does have to be applied, or it does have to be turned on, made visible. So if I head into sandbox 2, where I know that I pushed it, I'm going to go into my content. Okay, trust me, it's nowhere to be found, but I know I want to add it to this unit. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this unit. I want to put it right here in this lesson. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to add existing. So now that assignment is now, I'm not creating a new assignment. I know that assignment is existing in my course. I just have to add it to content. So I'm going to add an existing assignment. And there it is right there. Assignment, push content, select, and there it is. So now that assignment is in content for my students. It's not visible yet, but I can go ahead and turn that on just like that. So that is how you push an assignment from one course to another course, and then we'll call it publish, apply, make that assignment visible to your students. Don't forget that last step. The process for copying an announcement, very similar. So I'm going to head to my home, my course home here. And I have an announcement. I want to push this announcement to another course. So this is all done from one place, the announcements tool, but it's right on the front page. I just go to the drop down next to the announcement that I want to push, copy to other courses. So use the drop down, copy to other courses, find the course. I want to push it. There it is right there. Next. And copy. Copy complete, done. Head to sandbox 2. Who thinks they know what I'm about to say? Jessica, do you want to share?
No, thanks.
I bet she was going to say, it's just not going to show up in announcements. You do have to go ahead and publish the announcement. It's not just going to show up. The course is not smart enough to know if we want it there for our students yet. Maybe, it's a day versus a B day course, and we don't want it to show up on B day yet. So we want to go in and make sure that it's not there yet. So we're going to go into our announcements tool, and I'm just going to go to announcements tool. You can also just click on the word announcements. It will be here though. So it's in our announcements tool. There it is right at the top. You can see that the status is a draft. So I'm just going to use my drop down and I'm going to edit this draft. So right here, I could just say, all right, I'm good. Let's publish it. Or, you always have those options where I can add release conditions, a start date and end date to the announcement. For the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. But don't forget, you have all of those options for announcements. Once I publish this, I can head back to my course home, and this will be visible for my students if I've made it visible, but it will be in the announcements widget on the home page. So there it is right there. All right. Yep, Meredith, you had it. Good job. So any questions, comments about that push feature for announcements and for um, assignments.
Just a quick, I mean, is there anything in the like maybe DTOL pipeline that like you go make this assignment or you do the push notification and it says like publish now or gives you the option, maybe a toggle button or something that's like, I want to publish it now versus hold it in draft
Yeah,
form? Because it's
I
like that's
know.
just the thing that all teachers talk about is how many clicks it takes to do the simplest thing.
Yeah, I think that would be no, I agree. No, not I haven't heard anything in the pipeline. I think it's
Yeah,
a great idea.
right.
So yeah, something to if you want, send me a quick email and I'll create a pie item for it. If you're not familiar with that, a pie is a product ideas exchange. So we
Yeah.
can submit our ideas. And if you've done that
Cool.
before, please feel free or send me an email and say, hey, Darren, I want to put this up for a pie, and I'll create it for you, and we'll try and get these ideas. And I have meetings with folks, and if you were ever in one, Stephanie, my boss,
Mhm.
asks or asks the same questions in every single meeting. Like the big things that we want, she never
Mhm.
lets them forget about the things that we want. So, and we've gotten a
Good.
few things like announcements. Not a lot of districts don't have push announcements. We do,
Right.
because we push for that. A lot of them don't have the self merging. We're going to get that soon. So we are getting
Yeah.
things from them by being a little bit louder, and we're a large district. So
Mhm.
if our teachers want it, hopefully we can get it soon. So keep
Okay.
keep asking for those things and just letting us know. Just put it in writing for me, otherwise I'll forget.
Sure.
So yeah, but we appreciate. We need to know what you want and need. Another one that we always push for is content, like being able to just take a block of content and push that to other courses. I know that's on their radar as well. That's not.
I know it's on their radar, but it's just like,
Yeah.
we just got that Google form that's about, do we want to keep this or not? And it's like, that's what's holding you back from buy-in is like,
Well,
it's
yeah, I will
8,000
say
clicks
I
to do
don't
the
think
most simple
I
thing.
don't think
So,
our other options
yeah.
do that either that I know of.
Mhm.
So we'll see, but at least
Okay.
we have them. We have their ear
Cool.
now.
I,
So
I do have a question for you, but if it's something to like kind of hold to the end, just let me know if you don't want to answer it now. One of the things I've always had a problem with is I like try to like let's like create a unit, it has some files on it. I do the import export thing, and visually it appears like everything looks good. But maybe one of those files was a PDF. And if a student clicks on it or I click on it, it'll look, the icon will be the same, the name will be the same. I'll click it, the file won't be there. That falls under this whole like it's in draft or I need to push it, that sort
yeah,
of
it
thing.
could be, or it could be that you had to select the course files that are associated with it. So that course files area might be part of it as well.
But
Uh,
the icon is a separate thing, so it's like I have to because like the icon, like the fact that there's a file and it's called this, that is copying over without any problems. The file isn't there. You understand what I'm
okay.
saying?
Not exactly. Can we talk at the end?
Yeah, sure. Then
Okay.
that's fine. That's
All
fine.
right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the last thing I wanted to touch on, and I think we're running a little short on time. We got about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go through this quickly. And I know we had 2 Creator Plus sessions this morning, a big new tool, brand new tool from Brightspace that has come out recently. And if you were with Bridget this morning, she talked a little bit about copying Creator Plus content. Again, step-by-step directions are in this slide deck. But 2 components are elements and practices. Creator Plus has elements and practices. Elements kind of give out information, nice, engaging ways to organize information for your students, and practices allow for self-assessment. It's a creative way to self-assess students and allow them to see how they're doing with content. Copying elements, pretty much like everything we've talked about today. Use import, export, copy. It's like copying an HTML document. You can just grab it, move it over. If there's associated files, make sure you select those course files. Like there's images and such in there. Make sure you make sure you grab those. The other thing that you can do is you can actually just use what we call the HTML source code. So, and let me show you how that works. And I think that's an easy way to do it, but it's not for everyone. So I'm going to head into one of my courses here, go into content. So here I have a a timeline that I've created. If I want this to be in another course, and this does have associated files, I'm just going to ignore that for now. But this is, if there was just text, this is an easy way to copy it over. So I'm just going to edit this HTML doc that I've created. And this is a Creator Plus element. The source code is always found right here in this source code button. So this is everything that makes up the HTML document. If you do a Control A, it's going to highlight everything. Control A, Control C to copy. Cancel. I'm going to cancel. I didn't make any edits. And then I'm going to head over to where I want this. I'm just going to put it in my other course. So this is kind of avoiding the whole import, export, copy, finding the one that you want. Now I'm just going to go into content. And I could already have all this open, maybe if I'm fancy and have two screens going, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to create new. And I'm going to create a new HTML document. Creator Plus can only go in HTML documents. And I'm going to open up the source code for this HTML document and just make sure it's all, I'm just going to highlight everything here, get rid of it, Control V, save, and there we go. Everything is pasted in just like it was in the other one. Save and close. Actually, the associated files did come over because it is referencing whatever's in managed files. So we'll see if they actually stick. Yeah, they did. So that's nice. So everything that was in 1 is now in 2, or vice versa. In 2 now is in 1. And all I did is a Control C, Control V, just copy and paste that HTML source code. So that's an easy way to copy over HTML Creator Plus documents. Practices are a little different. Practices are, and if you're at all familiar, there's that interactivity, drag and drop. It tells students if they're right or wrong. So there's an associated file that goes along with another file that goes along with a practice, and it's called a .json file. And you have to use import, export, copy. You have to select the content. You have to select the HTML document and content, and you also have to select the associated file. So I'm going to show you that process now, and we'll have to wrap up after that. So I apologize. We did push right up to time, but we had a lot of great questions during our session. So let's go here. All right, let's head into course admin. Import, export, copy. I'm going to search for our offering. There we go. All right, we're going to just select certain components. Yes, I know I've already copied. And Patrick, if you want to go ahead and drop the link to the attendance,
Yep,
so
doing
folks
that.
can get started on that.
Yep, doing that now.
Make anyone late. Thank you. All right, so in content, and we're going to select individual files. And then we also, for a practice, we have to select course files. There's an associated file that goes along with this. So I'm going to continue here. All right, so I'm going to grab this one here. Nope, not that one, this one. So you can see I grabbed the practice that I want to bring over. It's a matching, drag and drop matching. I'm going to continue. And now I'm going to grab that file, the .json file that makes it all work. So this is easier than recreating it in every course. I know it's a few clicks, but if you've gone to the trouble of creating a really cool practice for your students, going through this process, I think is worth it. Sorry, my computer's just decided to slow down, so I apologize for the delay. And it is 2:05. I know we have a 10-minute buffer, so we'll get there. Right, so now you can see I've got all this stuff, and I've not done a very good job naming my files, but that's okay. I'm going to scroll down to my P's for practice. Look for practice. Right at the end, it got me. There we go. Come on. I have a lot of stuff in this course. You probably won't have as much as I have going on here, so it won't take you as long. Just got to find practice. Practice, 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 practice. There it is, right there. Practice. I'm going to expand this. So these are all the .json files. These are all of my practices right now that I have. Typically, the one you just created, it's going to be right here on top. So you just grab the one that's on top. For me, I know that I need number 156 at the end. I just know that. Don't ask me how. But typically, the one that you would need would be the last one that you just made. So it would be at the top of the list. Now I'm going to continue. And I'm going to finish. So now I'm pushing that over. I'm sorry, I'm pulling that from my sandbox one, and it'll be in my course. So I'll show that to you. But any questions about anything that I went through today? I know we're up against our time, so I understand if you're out of here after you fill out the attendance link. But I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate all the questions, and I hope I've made this just a little bit easier for you as you work in your courses. So everybody, thanks and take care.
Darren, you're usually at the office hours type part.
Yeah, I am. Or yeah, I am.
Okay, so I'll see if I can if what I learned today takes care of the issue I was talking about, and if not, then I'll meet you over there.
Yeah, come on over, or just if you go to Teacher Intro to Digital Tools to the Brightspace support section, there's a spot where you can schedule a support session. That's with me. So it'd just be like a 20 minutes, just you and me, and we could go over whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Great. Thank you so much.
Darren, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
So